Hello, Dr. Manathunga. This is Doug Carpenter. You had requested from our firm to be able to show you what your best options are as far as purchasing $1 million bond. You had told us that you were wanting to be able to purchase this bond so that in 10 years you would have that $1 million and you were looking to use it for retirement. And we want to be able to show you the best options that are available for you in purchasing this bond. We also make recommendations on which type of bond. And so for today, for this presentation, in our agenda, we'll start with our intro to where we'll look at what the actual bond is, how it meets your needs, how to be able to go about purchasing it, and then we're going to look at several Excel spreadsheets on being able to follow along and see what you're able to do with the coupon payments, loan repayments, and then we'll get to our final tips and takeaways. All right, as far as the bond itself, the bond is $1 million bond. It has a coupon rate of 6.45%. There is an effective rate of 6.975%. You were wanting us to get around 7, and this was about as close as we could get. Your present value, of course, since the effective rate is larger than the coupon rate, then you're going to pay less for this particular bond. And so you see right here that you're going to pay somewhere in the neighborhood of $962,000 for this particular bond. Now, just to make sure that you know about something ahead of time, is that this bond, the price is changing all the time. But the price that you actually pay is going to be somewhere around this amount. And it has a future value, of course, of $1 million. It pays in quarterly payments 4 times and has a payment of $16,125 for every payment. And there are 40 of them, of course, being over 10 years. The cost of this particular bond and the cost of the loan is, you said you would be able to secure a loan for $1 million, and we started with $1 million. And once we get into the meat and potatoes, so to speak, of this particular bond, you'll be able to see where we're able to point out and go, okay, this is the actual payment. And so these numbers right here, as far as your payment, your APR, okay, you have 12 payments and they compound 12 times a year. It has a present value of $1 million and then 120 payments. Now, how does this bond meet your needs? You desire to have $1 million in 10 years to help with retirement. And we want to be able to help you get to that goal. And the options available on the loan will also provide funds when the bond matures. So let's go to our Excel spreadsheets and let's take a look at what all is here. And then if you have any questions at the end, you can let us know. We can go through these particular spreadsheets because these are, I call them live. So we're able to go through and take a look. And if you are, sorry about that, my mouse got away from me. Okay, but if we're looking at the actual loan on the bond, and you get a loan for $1 million. Now, like I said, the price of it is lower because the effective rate is higher than the actual coupon rate. So we're going to go over here to the actual bond itself. and look at the present, and you see that, our numbers have already changed to where it was at 11,000 and I think 100, and now it's at 11,051. And as we go through this, okay, you see that if you make these payments every single month all the way up for 10 years, you will have paid a total amount of 1.3 million, one in repayment, and then 363,000, this number right here, for the total amount of interest in this loan. Now, every loan has this option of an extra payment, and I'm sure that you're aware of it. But I just put in here that we had $1,000 payment. Now, if you wanted to go up to 1,500, oops, sorry about that. If you wanted to go up to 1,500, then we can be able to show you, and just like I was plugging this in right here, okay, and how our numbers kind of change, and I'll just do it real quick just so that you're able to see that, okay, like I said, this is a live spreadsheet, and so as we go through this and as we look at changes that we want to make, we can make these changes fairly quickly, and hopefully you'll be able to see what these numbers are doing and where they're at. Now, if we have a loan, and again, let's go to what our present value is right now. Here's our amount that we're paying, and we're going to add an extra payment of $1,000. Okay, and as we scroll through, we realize that we come to the very end, and around April of 2034, which right now we're looking at this bond maturing in June of 2035, you see that this loan is paid off a year ahead of time, and instead of paying 1.3 million, you're now paying about 1.1 in total, and you're having a savings and interest of about $44,000. So making any type of payment, okay, is a extra payment will be very beneficial. Now, I've created a line chart here. Again, if we look at what the present value is, and the reason why I held all of this over is so that, again, this price right here is going to change, but it's not going to change that much. We don't foresee any huge market shifts so that this price is going to be significantly different. And so, and you have a line chart here showing that we're starting at 962,000, follow this line all the way down, we have it paid off. And then our light blue is just the total principal paid, and of course it is at an inverse, so they're going to cross. And then right here in the green, okay, is the total interest paid. And again, as you saw in that particular spreadsheet, as you scroll down, you realize that here where the principal or the interest is, it continually falls. It continually goes down as your principal increases. So now we've taken a look at the line chart, okay, and now we have what is called this is the actual bond. I have it here designed to say accretion of discount. And what that means is that since your present value, okay, is $962,000, this is what we're going to actually pay, or around that, for the bond. And that's what you're going to get at the very end, plus all of these payments. And the difference between what you have here, okay, in that 962,000 and what it is at $1,000,000, you are in a sense being paid extra interest, so that by the end of this loan you would have been paid this amount between the 962 and the 1,000,000. And so when you go to record this in your books, okay, you will have an actual, that's the cash that you've come in. There's the accretion of discount, okay, and then this is your total interest earned. One of the nice things about this is that with this accretion of discount, okay, we did have to go to another program to be able to pull up what all of these are. But again, it still shows that at the very end, you're still paying, okay, 962,000, and at the very end, you're getting $1,000,000. Now, what happens if, and again, this is a corporate bond. It's going to be issued on June 1st. Okay, it will mature on June 1st of 2035. Has a yield to maturity of 7.248. Okay, and that just takes into account the discounted cash flows of not only the $1,000,000 you get at the end, but also the discounted cash flows of your coupon payments. And so now, how do we go about paying off this loan and even using the coupon payments? So we're going to go back, change to this, okay, and so now we are switched up to where, what if you applied the coupon payments to your loan? And this was something that I thought was very, very interesting, and I think it will be of great benefit to you. If you see here, you notice that around May 1st of 2031, okay, it is paid off. You don't have to make that payment anymore. Now, I'm going to go back up, change this back to the $1,000,000, which is what we had set up in the first place. And I want to show you that, again, around this time in May or June of 2031, this bond is paid off. So now you not only don't have this payment, you are also now receiving $16,125 every 3 months. So what happens if we put this money into just a simple 4% savings account, and we let this money accrue, which it accrues on it compounds on a monthly basis, 4% a year. And you start to see that your balance, just over that amount of time, from July of 2031 until it matures, okay, in May of 2035, or June actually, this date is somewhere around May 31st, June 1st. Look at how much is in your account. $867,245. And you did that over 4 years. And again, that is just in a simple savings account, not very big on risk, very easy to get to, very easy to be able to withdraw, deposit more if you would like. So if you go this route, you will receive $867,245 plus the $1,000,000 that you get when this matures. Now, what if you just put the money into the bank. You just allowed this amount to flow into a 4% account. And again, every 3 months, you're receiving $16,125. So when you get to the very end, you are looking at $791,464. Now, you also have to take into account that if you're not, depending on what you're doing as far as the loan, to where if you're just making the basic payments, or if you're making the extra payment, or if you are allowing the coupon payments to go towards the overall loan, okay, in all of these situations, you're still coming out pretty good. But from what we've been able to tell, okay, just looking at this, if we allowed this to go in, you would have $791,464. Now, you would have paid roughly, and again, depending on whichever route you want to go, and whichever route you want to go, we will help and support you and figure out a way to make it streamlined for you. But if we take a look at just making the basic payments, okay, you're looking at, again, $363,000 in interest. And so if we knock that off of the 791, now all of a sudden you're around $400,000. Okay, as opposed to if we go with applying the loan and then doubling up on the payments, now all of a sudden in a very short amount of time, okay, you have $867,245. Now, the total interest is much lower as well, $222,000, with a savings of about $140,000. So at the very end, if we're looking at this amount that's in your account with the extra payment, with doubling up on the not only the coupon payment, but also taking what we were making to the loan and now applying it to this account, you are looking at taking this amount minus what you paid in interest, which again is significantly less. Oops, sorry about that. I wanted to be able to show you this. There we go. So this minus, we're going to scroll up and remove the interest. You're making around $644,000. And again, that's not including when that bond matures, which by all accounts, it looks like that bond is going to go all the way to maturity. You will walk away with $1 million plus this amount here of $644,444. And so if you were to ask us as a firm, what is the best choice, what's the best option for us to go, we truly believe that it is this right here, which gives you the most amount of money and gives you we feel like it gives you not only just the most amount of money, but also where all of this money comes in at the end, to where you have $644,000, taking away the interest, of course, okay, plus the $1 million. Now you have $1.6 million to be able to go for retirement, and we feel like that's a pretty good deal, and you would be able to have a lot of options for yourself. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us. We will be glad to listen. I know that this is just the very beginning, but I just want to say thank you. And if you need to reach us, you can reach me here at my email address or at my phone number there. You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for using us and asking us to perform this for you, and you have a wonderful day.